गिरिधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन 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 व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरवनचारी यमुनतीरवनचारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी। जय श्री श्री राधा माधव जी की जय, श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ जी की जय, श्री श्री लड्डू गोपाल जी की जय, श्री नरसिंह भगवान की जय, श्रीताय गौरचंद्र जी की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की जय, निताय गौर प्रेम नंदे हरि हरि बोल। मंगलाचरण। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदाङ्गितं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखाभितांश हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेव्या भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति नमस्तकी। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji's Dandavat Pranams. Thank you very much, Rupa Prabhu, for giving me this opportunity. So, this is actually, we are in the fifth canto, 25th chapter. It's a very important verse. It's a very important chapter, basically. So, the glories of Lord Ananta. So, Prabhupada in this chapter, he has given the summary. So, I'll read out the summary first before we go to the shlokas. So, we have the flavor of what this chapter contains of. So, in this chapter, Sukadeva Goswami describing Ananta is the source of Lord Shiva. Lord Ananta, whose body is completely spiritual, resides at the root of the planet Patal. He always lives in the core of Lord Shiva's heart, and he helps him destroy the universe. Ananta instructs Lord Shiva how to destroy the cosmos, and thus he is sometimes called Tamasi, or one who is in the mode of darkness. He is the original deity of material consciousness, and because he attracts all the living entities, he is sometimes known as Shankarshana. The entire material world is situated on the hood of Lord Sankarshana. From this forehead, he transmits to Lord Shiva the power to destroy this material world. Because Lord Sankarshana is an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, many devotees offer him prayers, and in the planetary system of Patala, all the suras, asuras, gandharvas, vidyadharas, learned sages offer him their respectful obeisances. The Lord talks with them in sweet voice. His bodily construction is completely spiritual and very, very beautiful. And anyone who hears about him from a proper spiritual master becomes free from all material conception of life. The entire material energy is working according to the plans of Anantadeva. Therefore, we should regard him as a root cause of the material creation. There is no end to this strength, and no one can fully describe him, even with countless mouths. Therefore, he is called Ananta, unlimited. Being very merciful towards all living entities, he has exhausted his spiritual body. Sukadeva Goswami describes the glories of Anantadeva to Maharaj Parikshit in this way. So that's how the summary. Normally, Prabhupada normally doesn't gives that many in most of the chapters, but here we are very fortunate to have the. So, Prabhu, you are going to share the screen, or shall I share the screen, Prabhu?
Oh, I'm sharing.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. So it's a prose, the verse text one. So, yeah, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Can a little bit increase the font, Prabhu? My eyes are a little bit, if it's possible. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's great. तस्य मूले देशे 30 योजना सहस्रांतर आस्ते या वै कला भगवतस्तामसी सांख्या अनंत इति सात्वितीय दृश्यो संकर्षणम अहम इति अभिमान लक्षणम यम संकर्षणम इति आचक्षते. Translation by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So Shikadeva Goswami said to Maharaj Parikshit, my dear king, approximately 240,000 miles beneath the planet Patala, there is another incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is an expansion of Lord Vishnu, known as Lord Ananta or Lord Sankarshana. He is always in the transcendental position, but because he is worshipped by Lord Shiva, the deity of Tamoguna or darkness, he is sometimes called Tamasi. Lord Ananta is a predominating deity of the material mode of ignorance as well as the false ego of all conditioned souls. When a conditioned living being thinks, I am the enjoyer and this world is meant to be enjoyed, this conception of life is dictated to him by Sankarshana. Thus, the mundane conditioned soul thinks himself the Supreme Lord. So the purport is very nice. Prabhu, if you can share the purport also, if you don't mind. Thank you, Prabhu. So it is purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. There is a class of men akin to Mayavadi philosophers who misinterpret the Aham Brahmasi, Soham, Vedic mantras to mean I am the Supreme Brahman, I am the identical with the Lord. This kind of false conception in which one thinks himself the supreme enjoyer is a kind of illusion. It is described elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam 558, Janasya Mohom Aham Mameti. As explained in the above verse, Lord Sankarshana is a predominating deity of the false conception. Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Sarvasya Chaham Hridhi Sannivishto Makta Smritir Jnanam Pohanam Cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The Lord is situated in everyone's heart as Sankarshana. When a demon thinks himself one with the Supreme, the Lord keeps him in that darkness. Although such demonic living entity is only an insignificant part of the Supreme Lord, he forgets his true position and thinks he is a Supreme Lord. Because this forgetfulness is created by Sankarshana, he is sometimes called Tamasi. The name Tamasi does not indicate that he has a material body. He is always transcendental, but because he is a super soul, Lord Shiva, who must perform tamasic activity, Sankarshana is sometimes called Tamasi. Just to give a brief thing, the first 3 verses which we are going to discuss is about the activities of Lord Ananta. And the 4 and 5, it talks about the beauty of the Lord Ananta. And 6 to 15, it is the causeless mercy of Lord Ananta on the conditioned soul. So that's how we'll be seeing this chapter. So here in this verse, here, this Ananta is a serpent, but he's not an ordinary serpent. He's an expansion of the Supreme Lord, as we have seen already in the purport. And this Sankarsana is residing beneath the Patala and is connected with the principle of Ahankara, false conception. I am the enjoyer. So Anantadev service is basically he provides a cozy bed, and it is not an ordinary bed. And it is said the texture is so soft like a milk foam. It's so, and he serves the Lord as the Lord's bed, his seat, his umbrella, and his resting place. So even though Ananta has unimaginable power, he can support the entire universe on his head itself. And he has unlimited power, and he's always engaged in the service of the Lord. So Anantadev is also called as he has a Kriya Shakti because he is in charge of the activities. So this material world, you'll be seeing in the future verses also it will come in, that Anantadev is the material world, why he has been created? Because we all want to enjoy separate from the Lord. We were envious that why Krishna is alone enjoying, we must also enjoy ourselves. So Anantadev has created this material world for the so-called enjoyment for the jiva. But we know that a jiva can never enjoy without Krishna, without the Lord. So we have to stop this mentality. Then only once we stop this mentality, then we can think of and we must try to serve the Lord. So once we give up this tendency, what will happen is Anantadeva will help us. So even though we'll be coming in the future verses where it will be quoted that just by the glance, the whole material world is sustained. So his supervision is there every part of the world. And that's why Prabhupada has quoted the verse Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivrishto. So he is situated in everyone's heart, and all the remembrance and forgetfulness, we get it from him. So the living entity is in the clutches of Maya. He wants to enjoy the material world. But who is giving the direction? That's what Prabhupada in the purport has said, that this Anantadev is giving the direction. Even if he wants to do something wrong, that direction is also given by the Lord only. So he encourages him there wherever he wants to go. That's how actually it's done. And it is said that life after life, we would all have been coming from birth to this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. We are all in the cycle of birth and death. But when you leave the body, it is said that you forget everything. You forget. And then what happens? This Paramatma and the Anantadev, he will remind you that you have left these things. So you come across, that's what Prabhupada, if you see in the word, Prabhupada has used a word that even if you forget, he reminds you that you have forgotten to do this thing. So only by his directions, everybody is working. That's what actually it is said. He is the eternal director of the condition. And moreover, it is also quoted by this same thing will be quoted in 525.8 also when we see that we are all in the Hridaya Granthi, the hard knot. 558, which is quoted as the hard knot of material attachments, which is very difficult to. And what is that material? What is that attachment we have? Is material consciousness. I am the enjoyer and everything is for me. That's what aham mameti. So devotional consciousness, Krishna is the enjoyer and I am the servant. So Anantadev is associated with material energy, but he himself is transcendental. So that is what actually in this verse, shortly what we can understand. The next verse is 552, where the translation 552, Sukadeva Goswami continue, this great universe situated on once Lord's Anantadev's thousands of food appear just like a white mustard seed. It is infinitesimal compared to the hood of the Lord Ananta. So this verse describes that Lord Ananta has unlimited power, and the universe, the whole universe, is sustained by him very effortlessly. That's what actually Prabhupada wants to convey. 525.3. At the time of devastation, when Lord Anantadeva desires to destroy the entire creation, he becomes slightly angry. Then, from between his two eyebrows appears a three-eyed Rudra carrying a trident. This Rudra, who is known as Sankarshana, is embodiment of the 11 Rudras, or the incarnation of Lord Shiva. He appears in order to devastate the entire creation. So the purport, it says that the living entities, they get a chance to close their business as conditioned souls. But when we misuse the opportunity and do not go back to Godhead, then he becomes angry. And the 11 Rudras, expansion of Lord Shiva, comes out of Lord Sankarshana's eyebrows due to his angry mood, and all of them together devastate the entire creation. So here, Prabhupada wants to say that we are all reminded, every time we are reminded of our objectives. Every time it is given that how we must get back to Krishna. And that's why it is said we should keep on hearing, meditating, and upon the Lord. Something. So here it is said that living entities are given a chance. That's what actually, and why he becomes angry. Because this wonderful facility, you will again see the same thing in 525.6, where it will come again that this wonderful creation facility given to us for the conditional truth, which is an opportunity so that we get reconnected with Krishna. And the purpose of creation is not to get lost in this material affairs and total forget reality. So here it is said, Anantadev becomes angry, but he controls it. You will see in 525.6, it will be there. He is tolerating it like children's, we tolerate our children's. Because even though if they may do some mistakes or something, but he's tolerating like that. Here, Anantadev also is tolerating us. And this human form of life is the best process by which we can go back to Krishna. This verse 11, 20, 17 is very clear. Nirdeham Nirdehamadyam Sulabham Sudurlabham Plavam Sukalpam Guru Karnadharam Mayanukule Nanabhasvateritam Puman Bhavatim Natare Atmaha. This human body we are getting by the laws of nature, it is a rare achievement. And it can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat having the spiritual master as the captain and the instruction of the personality of God as favorable winds impelling on it. Considering all these advantages, if a human being does not utilize his human life to cross the ocean of material existence, must be considered as a killer of the soul. So this verse describes about the annihilation of the material creation. This Sankarshana, he manifests dragon between his two eyebrows. That Rudra, that is called, who expands into 11 Rudras. And the 11 Rudras are manifestation associated with Lord Shiva. And their function is to destruction. So it is not an ordinary anger like we and you and as a human being, we have some anger, no. But this is not an anger, it's an ordinary anger. It is a transcendental anger. And this comes from his eyebrows. So, and Krishna has an extraordinary potency. And with the transcendental anger, he has a destructive force of Rudra. And that is all actually it's destroying the totally. And this Sankarshana personally doesn't destroy everything, but with the act of anger, his potency is manifest through the Rudra. who performs a required function of the cosmic destructions. So Lord Shiva has extraordinary power, but who is giving this power? This function is ultimately originating from the Supreme Lord Sankarsana being, and we have seen that Sankarsana is nothing but is also an expansion of Krishna, and who is the ultimate source behind the destructive force of created by this through Rudra. That's how this material creation is destroyed. That's what it is said. The text 4 is the pink transparent toenails of the Lord's lotus feet are exactly like valuable gems polished to a mirror finish. When the unalloyed devotees and leaders of the snakes offer their obeisance to the Lord Sankarsana with great devotion, they become very joyful upon seeing their own beautiful faces reflected in his toenails. Their cheeks are decorated with glittering earrings and beauty of their faces. There is no purport, but it's a very beautiful point. Here it is said that when the devotees they bow down to the lotus feet of Anasesh, so his toenails here are described here actually. So it is just like a, and the devotees when they see their reflections, the devotees also become very joyful simply by seeing the Lord. So normally Arpan. So normally we go for a pedicure and all, and we do the polishing of the nails, and so that it gets very clean. It looks, but these are actually the dead cells which are removed, and they use some chemicals also. When they put the nail polish, they use some. They say use some chemicals, but these nail polishes they may be harmful to our nails itself, and they may cause infections because of the chemicals we are using. But here it is stated, the Lord's nails look like a gems polished to the mirror finished by a nature without any external beautification. So when the devotees look at the nails of the Lord's feet, their faces are reflected and they get a great bliss by looking at the Lord's nail. The Lord also takes great pleasure to see the devotee's face reflecting his nail. So this is what in this verse talks about 525.5. Lord Ananta's arms are attractively long, beautifully decorated with bangles, and completely spiritual. They are white, and so they appear like silver columns. When the beautiful princess of the serpent king, hoping for Lord's auspicious blessing, smear his arms with agru pulp, sandalwood pulp, kunkuma. The touch of his limbs awaken lusty desires within them. Understanding their minds, the Lord looks at the princess with a merciful smile, and they become bashful, realizing that he knows their desires. Then they smile beautifully and look upon the Lord's lotus feet, which is beautified by reddish eyes rolling slightly from intoxication and delighted by love for his devotees. So Prabhupada, the purport says male and female, their lusty desire and this naturally when the touching process is there. But it is said that this sensation, it is in even the spiritual body. Who has created it? This spiritual body. So Ananta and woman giving him pleasure had spiritual bodies. So all the sensation exists from the spiritual body. So this is what is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra Janmadiyasya Yataha, where Vishwanath Chakravarti says that Adi means Adi Rasa. So the original lusty feeling which is born from the Supreme. So however, spiritual lust and material lust, they are totally different. It's like a gold and iron. So only who is very highly elevated in spiritual realization can understand the lusty feelings exchange between Radha and Krishna or between Krishna and themselves of Vrija. Therefore, unless one is very experienced and advanced in spiritual realization, he is forbidden to discuss the lusty feelings of Krishna and gopis. But however, if a sincere and pure devotee, the material lust in his heart is completely vanquished as he discusses the lusty feelings between gopis and Krishna and makes him a quick progress in spiritual life. So this verse is describing the transcendental beauty of the Lord and the loving relationship of his devotees with him. So Prabhupada always warns that one should go canto by canto. He never tells straightly jump to the 10th canto. So one should not prematurely jump into the description of loving relationship between Radha and Krishna. But we see the professional reciters, to attract the mass public, they go to the 10th canto and speak about it. That's what Prabhupada is warning here. So only when one has developed sufficient purity of the heart and understanding the teachings, then only one can appreciate. So about the loving pastimes of Radha, Krishna should be not be discussed unless one is purified himself. And moreover, the purpose of Rasa Leela is not to increase our attraction to the romantic enjoyment, but hearing Krishna's pure loving relationship with the gopis can cure the conditioned soul of the materialist and awaken the pure devotion of Krishna. That's what here the Prabhupada wants to say. So that is the 10th canto. One must not jump to it. Text 6. Lord Sankarsana is an ocean of unlimited spiritual qualities. Thus, he is known as Anantadeva. He is non-different from Supreme Personality of Godhead for the welfare of all living entities. Within the material world, he resides in his abode, restraining his anger and tolerance. As I told you in 525.3, where it was said that here actually it is giving he has unlimited power. That's what it says in the verse. It says, Ananta Gunarnava, an ocean of unlimited transcendental qualities. And he is the Adi Deva, original law. So he has the power to destroy the material creation, but he restrains his anger out of compassion. Actually, here the purport is very nice. It's given that he checks his anger and intolerance. This material world is created to give the conditioned soul another chance to go home, go back to Godhead. And most of them do not take advantage of this facility. So after the creation, they again exercise their old propensity for lording over the material world. And this conditioned soul, that is why these activities of the conditioned soul anger Anantadev. But he desires to destroy the entire material world. Yet because he is the supreme personality of Godhead, he is kind towards us and checks his anger and intolerance. Only at certain times he expresses anger and destroys the material world. We saw how he destroys the material world by the 11 the Shiva, and 11 through his eyebrows. He creates the 11 Rudras and they destroy it. So why this human being? It is very nicely in the bhajan, you all heard of it, Jeev Jago. The second para, it says, भाजीबो बोलिया ऐसे संसारा बिथारे बोलिया रोहिलो तुमी avidya bhare. It is said, this world full of janma mrityu, when we are coming out of the mother's womb, we pray at a time that I will not come back again into the womb. That's what in Srimad Bhagavatam 3:31, the prayers by the living entities is stated. So in the song also it is said that, but now I have forgotten this promise and remain in ignorance. That's what actually the problem. So here it is stated that sometimes he releases anger. We saw how he releases his anger in 525.3. So at the time of annihilation, he loses anger and completely destroys the planet. The planet is completely destroyed. Text 7. Sukdev Goswami continued, the demigods, the demons, the urgas, serpentine demigods, the siddhas, gandharvas, the vidyadharas, many highly elevated sages constantly offer prayers because he is intoxicated. The Lord looks bewildered and his eyes, appearing like flowers in full bloom, move to and fro. He pleases his personal associate, the heads of the demigod, with a sweet vibration emanating from his mouth. Dressed in bluish garments and wearing a single earring, he holds a plow on his back with his two beautiful and well-constructed hands, appearing as white as the heavenly King Indra, he wears a golden belt around his waist and a Vaijanti garland of ever-fresh tulsi blossoms around his neck. Bees intoxicated by the honey-like fragrance of the tulsi flower hum very sweetly around the garland, which thus becomes more and more beautiful. In this way, the Lord enjoys his very magnanimous pastimes. So this verse is describing about the form of the Lord Ananta. He has a spiritual form and can anybody devotee can serve them. And he has a beautiful transcendental, wears and ornaments, carries his plows, surrounded by devotees who glorify him. And the presence of Tulsi is also emphasizing that his connection with bhakti. That's what this verse one. There's no purport. So we'll go ahead. 525.8. If a person who are very serious about being liberated from material life hear the glories of Anantadev from the mouth of a spiritual master in the chain of disciplic succession, and if they always meditate upon Sankarshana, the Lord enters the course of their heart, vanquishes all the dirty contaminations of the material modes of nature, and cuts to pieces the hard knot within the heart, which has been tied tightly since time immemorial by the desire to dominate a material nature through fruitive activities. Narada Muni, the son of Lord Brahma, always glorifies Anantadev in his father's assembly. There he sings blissful verses of his own composition, accompanied by the stringent instrument or a celestial singer known as Tumburu. So purport in the purport says, this description of Anantadev is not imaginary. And they're all transcendently blissful and full of actual knowledge. So unless one hears them directly from a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession, one cannot understand them. So this knowledge is delivered by Narada, by Lord Brahma, and the great saint Narada, along with his companion Tumburu, distributes it all over the universe. And sometimes the Supreme Personality God is described as Uttama Shloka, those praised by beautiful poetry. Narada Muni himself composes the word Sam Shlokayasham Asha, praised by selected by, and is used in the verse. So the Vaishnavas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya belongs to the disciplic succession stemming from Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is a spiritual master of Narada. Narada is a spiritual master of Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam as a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. Therefore, all the devotees of the Gaudiya Sampradaya accept the activities of Lord Ananta related in the Srimad Bhagavatam as authentic, and they are thus benefit of going back to Godhead. The contamination in the heart of the conditioned soul is like huge accumulation of garbage created by the three modes of material nature, especially the modes of Rajas and Tamas. This contamination becomes manifest in the form of lusty desire and greed for material possession. As confirmed here, unless one receives a transcendental knowledge in disciplic succession, there is no question of becoming purified of his contamination. So here, Prabhupada wants to convey that Anantadev, he has unlimited. So first, what is the process he has given actually? This is basically, first we have to hear. When we hear, then we have to meditate. When you do the meditation, the Lord enters into the heart and our material contamination is removed. The knot of material attachment we have seen 558, where it says that knot, Hridaya Granthi, I am the controller, I am the enjoyer, this material world belongs to me. So when the conditioned soul becomes covered with so many unwanted material desires and thoughts, and that is what is Prabhupada is comparing at. This is a huge pile of garbage. It is not a something, it's a huge pile of garbage. And what is that garbage is basically material desires, attachment, selfish thoughts, and these are all these things. And how we can clear this misconception is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We all will be reciting these verses, because Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhavaha Dhavagani Nirvapanam Shreyo Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadurjivam. So Cheto Darpana, every day we clean our body, and every day when we want to see our face very clearly, we clean it. So we have to clean the heart also by devotional service. And it is a gradual process. It doesn't take that one day we can clean. It's not that. So we have to continuously hear about the Lord, and that too through Guru Parampara system, so that will destroy the false conception of this bodily conception of life. There's a very nice small story how this conception can be removed. It is in Kanchi. There is one devotee called Kanchi. We always recite the verse, no? Tatvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Sevaya. Why seva is important? It is through this story you will understand that there was a person called, the devotee called Kanchi Purna, and he had five devotees initiated by Yamunacharya. Even though this Kanchipurna was born in a Shudra family, but he was very famous in South India and as a great devotee, as a great Vaishnava, and he was living in the city called Kanchipuram. And he used to daily offer service of fanning the famous deity of Lord Vishnu, Vardaraja Swami. He used to fan the deities. This Kanchipurna Seva attracted Lord Vardaraja so much that he used to converse with him daily. So he used to converse with him daily. And this somehow, the general public came to know. So general public, whenever they have some problems, they used to come and inform that I have this problem. Can you ask Vardaraja about this problem? How can it be solved? So same way, this. So one devotee, he asked whether I will go back to Vaikuntha or not. Can you check with Vardaraja? So this Kanchipurna, as usual, he went and asked, and he said yes. And the Lord also replied to him that yes, you will go. So then this Kanchipurna also had a desire. Oh, I can also, whether I will go back to not, or whether with this, it is I'm sure of going back to or not. So he had in his mind, but he was afraid of asking to Vardaraja. But Krishna being in the heart, he can understand what is there. So he said, Vardaraja asked him, you have anything to ask? You have anything to ask? So then he said, no, I don't have anything. I don't have anything like that. He used to reply. But Vardaraja will not leave him. So he said, tell me, you have something in your heart. So then somehow he said that I also wish to know whether I will go back to Vaikuntha or not. Then he said, you cannot go. He got certainly, why? You have not served anyone. Unless without a service, you cannot go back to Krishna. So you have to serve. Then he said, then immediately he left the fan and went in search of somewhere where I can get service. So since everybody, the general mass public knows that he is directly speaking to Vardaraja, no one wanted to offer him any service. So somehow then he removed his sannyas dress and actually he went to in a normal dress, and he got actually a service in one of his god brothers' place, and he was doing the all menial services. But he used to cover up his face because with the face everybody can recognize. So he used to cover up his face when he was doing the service also. But somehow one day he got caught, and then he was deprived of any service. Then he went to approach Vardaraja. Vardaraja said that, oh, you have done some menial service for the last 6 months, so you will go back to Krishna. So you will go back to Vaikuntha. So that's how actually it is said. Lord reserves the right only to the persons aboard who have served his pure devotees. So, as Prabhupada said, unless one receives the knowledge in disciplic succession, there is no question of becoming purified out of the contamination. So, if you want to remove the contamination, we have to receive the transcendental knowledge, like it is said that Brahmaji gave to Narada, Narada gave to Vyasadeva. In the disciplic successions, we are all in the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya. So we are in that Sampradaya. So we are receiving this knowledge from through that. Then we can go back to Godhead. Text 9. By his glance, the Supreme Personality Godhead enables modes of material nature to act as a cause of universal creation, maintenance, and destruction. The Supreme Soul is unlimited and beginningless, and although he is one, he has manifested himself in many forms. How can a human society understand the ways of the Supreme? So here, the word sa ikshita, that is the three modes of material manifest and they create material variety. So before he glances over the material energy, there is no possibility of creation, maintenance, and annihilation. But the Lord existed before the creation, and consequently, He is eternal and unchanging. So, therefore, any human being, however great, scientist, philosopher, he may not understand the ways of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's a quote from Chaitanya Bhagavata glorifying the Lord Ananta. He says, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras, Vyasadeva, Sukadeva Goswami, Narada, they are all pure devotees, eternal servants of the Lord. Lord Sri Ananta is worshipped by all these uncontaminated devotees mentioned above, and he has thousands of hoods and is the reservoir of all devotional service. And Lord Ananta is the original, personal, and the great mystic controller. At the same time, he is a servant of the God of Vaishnava. Since there is no end to his glories, no one can understand him fully. I have already spoken to you of the service of the Lord. Now hear how the self-sufficient Anantadeva exists in the lower planetary system. We all seen in the first verse itself. It stays in the downward planetary system. Bearing a stringed instrument, Tumbura, on his shoulder, the great sage Narada Muni always glorifies Lord Ananta. Narada Muni has composed many transcendental verses in the praise of the Lord. Simply due to the glance of the Lord Ananda, the three material modes in nature interact and produce creation, maintenance, and annihilation. These modes of nature appear again and again. And the Lord is glorified as one without a second, as a supreme truth who has no beginning. Therefore, it is called Ananta Deva, unlimited. Who can understand him? His form is completely spiritual. He manifested only by the mercy. And all the activities in this material world are conducted only in his form. He is very powerful and always prepared to please his personal associates and devotees. So its a conclusion is basically if we simply try to engage in the congregational chanting of the glories of Lord Anantadeva, the dirty things in our heart accumulated during many births will immediately be washed away. Therefore, a Vaishnava never loses his opportunity in glorifying Lord Anantadeva. Lord Anantadeva is known as Shesha because he ends our passage through this material world. Simply by chanting his glories, everyone can be liberated. On his head, Anantadeva sustains the entire universe with its millions of planets containing enormous oceans and mountains. He is so large and powerful that this universe rests on his hood just like a drop of water. He does not know where it is. While bearing the universe on the hood, Anantadeva chants the glories of Krishna with each of his thousands of mouths. Although he has been chanting the glories of Lord Krishna since time immemorial, he has still not come to their end. So to this day, Lord Ananta continues to chant the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and still he finds no end to them. So that's a beautiful Sa Ikshita, the word is very important. See, Anandadev is a power showing by just by glance, he is able to create this material world, the elements of the material world, modes of nature. So the whole material world is created, maintained, destroyed just by the glance of Anandadev. So when we are given a position, we are all working, we may be working or somebody is working under you or we are working under somebody, how our bosses or how we have to get things done. It's very difficult, no? It is very difficult to get things done from people normally because we have to shout at them, we get annoyed, and that's how we get our things get done. But here we see Anantadev just by the glance, he is getting things done. So it is inconceivable. The whole material world is running on the glance of Anantadeva. This proves the fact that we cannot understand the greatness of the Lord, the plans of the Lord. They are all inconceivable. And Anantadev, he still is keeping on glorifying. And he is doing with us thousands of hoods. That's what actually in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sanatana Goswami also is aspiring. If I have thousands of mouths to chant the holy name, if I have thousands of ears to hear constantly the name of Lord. So Anantadev is called also Sesha. We have seen it is Sesha. What is the Shesha is basically will be in the next verse also it will be quoted. Anantya Shesha is means ending the passage of a through this material world. Since he is a creator, he knows the in and out of how it has been created. And he also knows how to get out of it. So he can also pull out also this material world. So he is capable to remove us from this material world. But what is the condition is that one has to be sincerely serving the Lord and repent. Actually, we should repent for whatever mistakes we have done. We must repent. And once when we become a devotee of the Lord, then Anantadev becomes help us and remove the illusion. So we normally have two activities. Either one is with Krishna or with a material thing. So that is connected with Krishna is called spiritual activity, and that which is not connected to the material is called material activity. So Anantadev also helps us to keep us in illusion. We saw in the first or the where he also keeps us and he sees that we are disconnected and we are enjoying the facility provided. But once we realize the mistake, once we sincerely want to serve the Lord, then Anantadev is pleased and he removes the illusion. Then we can see the real world. So it is just a small story I'll tell you. The spiritual master is, we are all in the deepest ocean. The spiritual master is giving us the hand. Come on, pick up and get out of this material whirlpool. But we tell the spiritual master, so I am not able to even hold the rope. The master has given us a rope through which we can pick up and go, but we don't want to catch the rope itself. Then what he can do? So like that, we have to catch hold of the dhuti. That's what it is said. Then we can go back to the Lord very easily, and that too in this human form of life, as I had said, Nirdeha Madhyam. This is a suitable boat. In any other form, we will not be able to remember the Lord, but at least we have the facility and which we can go back to Godhead. That's the thing. Next step. The manifestation of the subtle and gross matters within the Supreme Personality of Godhead out of costless mercy towards his devotees. He exhibits various forms which are all transcendental. The Supreme Lord is most liberal and possesses all mystic power. To conquer the mind of his devotees and give pleasure to their hearts, he appears in different incarnations and manifests many pastimes. In the purport, Jiva Goswami says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a cause of all causes. It is by the will of the cross, it is by his will, the gross, subtle ingredients interact. He appears in various incarnations just to please the heart of the pure devotee. For example, the Supreme Lord appeared in the form of Varaha just to please the devotees and lifting the planet Earth from the Garbhodaka ocean. So this gross ingredients, we all know that basically is earth, water, fire, and ether. And the subtle, we know the mind, intelligent, and false ego. These elements, they combine to produce material body and the material universal. But they do not act independently. Their interaction is directed by the Supreme Lord. As we see in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Sa Characharam Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagat Vipari Vartate. So under his supervision, the material nature under his supervision, all the moving and non-movings under his, and it is created and annihilated again and again. So this gross and subtle ingredient interact means Krishna's supervision. Without his supervision, nothing comes. So ultimate cause of functioning combination of the material elements is all caused by Krishna. And it is also said as it said in the purport, that Krishna appears in different forms and he does perform wonderful activities to attract the devotee's heart and give them spiritual happiness. We all have been now, Janmashtami is coming, now Govardhan Leela is coming. Every year we celebrate, every year we listen to the same Krishna Katha. Are we getting bored? We don't get bored by it. It gives new things. Whenever we are hearing Krishna Katha, it gives us new and new. It's not like the newspaper. Once we hear, we remove it and it's a stale. So the important point is this, Krishna's pastimes are not for entertainment. but they help to remember him, develop love for him, and become free from material attachment. That is the purpose of the. So that's what actually it said in this verse, text level. Even if he is if he be distressed or degraded, any person who chants the holy name of the Lord, having heard it from a bona fide spiritual master, is immediately purified. Even if he chants the Lord's name jokingly or by chance, he and anyone who hears him are freed from all sins. Therefore, how can anyone seek disentanglement from the material clutches? Avoid chanting the name of Lord Sesha, of whom else should we one take shelter. So, a beautiful point that in this we have to see the name of Krishna every time. This is actually a similar verse in Bhagavatam. It is quoted in 6 to 14, the Jamadas pastime, where it is said, Sanketam Parihasyam va Sobanam Helanam va Vaikunta Namagrahanam Aseka Haranam Vido. This chanting of the holy name, whether done indirectly, that's what it is stated, indirectly, jokingly, with the music instrument, or neglectfully, they will destroy the sins, all sins. There's a nice story, small story with which you can understand that there lived a very rich man, and he was full of materially observed, and he actually was taking one day a bunch of rose to his girlfriend, and by mistake, or you can say somehow, one rose fell into the river. He was passing a bridge. So he was passing a bridge on that river. There was one of the rows fell, and he knows that he cannot remove it from the river. So he said, Govindaya Swaha. So this one Govindaya Swaha, even though he had committed so many offenses, so many, at the time of judgment by the Yamaraja, the Chitraketu said that so many sins he has committed, but one good thing he has done, that and that is by giving rose, offering rose, and just chanting Govindaya Swaha. He has 10 minutes to be spent in heavenly planets. So Yamaraja was very fortunate, and he gave him the chance. He told him that you have option of first go to heavenly planet, enjoy, and then come for and take the punishment. So as the man was always with enjoyment facility, he said, I will go for the heavenly planet and then take up the punishments, give whatever you are given. So there he was very intelligent. That's the thing, was intelligent. He approached, even when he was given the chance, when he said that give me the scissor and take me to the rose garden. And there what he did, he cut all the roses, and always saying Govindaya Swaha, Govindaya Swaha, Govindaya Swaha, Govindaya Swaha. And that's how he will remain there for permanently there in the heavenly planet. That is not actually, it is only for the main crux of the story is basically that we should be taking the names of the Lord at any point of time. And second thing, we should not wait till the end of the life, that like he had the fortunate that he was given the opportunity to go to the heavenly planet and get the roses. Like that, we may not have get the chances. So that's how actually we should understand that this is the name. The name of the Lord is so powerful that it can get liberate from any time of us. Extra. So if one wants to become free from the material bondage, one should not neglect the chanting the name of Lord Sesha. That's what is the conclusion which we want to use. By 25:12, it says, because the Lord is unlimited, no one can estimate his power. This entire universe filled with so many great mountains, rivers, ocean, trees, and living entities is resting just like an atom on his many thousands of hoods. And is there anyone even with thousands of tongues who can describe his glories? So this is saying that Anantadev, he has glories are unlimited. And it is said, we have seen that Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, all the great personalities, they are also not able to glorify him fully. And Anantadeva, in response, he is also glorifying the since time immemorial. And the glories are never reaches an end. We just take 1 hour. By the time we get fed up, but Lord's glories are so unlimited that Ananda Dev, he says, still we have seen in the previous verses where we have seen the Chaitanya Bhagavata, he said that it is unlimited, that we cannot understand from how much glories is there. Text 13, it says, there is no end to the glories, there is no end to the great and glorious qualities of the powerful Anantadev. Indeed, his prowess is unlimited. Though self-sufficient, he himself is the support of everything. He resides beneath the lower planetary system and easily sustains the entire universe. So it says that there is no end, or it is not unlimited prowess. That's yes. And his prowess is unlimited and he's self-sufficient. That's what it wants to say. He himself supports everything and he resides beneath the lower planetary system and he's easily sustaining the entire universe. That's what actually in this verse wants to say. Text 14. My dear king, as I heard of it from my spiritual master, I have fully described to you the creation of this material world according to the fruitive activity and desires of the conditioned soul. Those conditioned souls who are full of material desires achieve various situations in different planetary system and in this way live with this material creation. So we have seen that we are all entrapped in this material ocean and we always should plan to get out of this. And here he says, Sukdev Goswami is telling that what I have heard from my spiritual master, I'm just trying to tell you about this material world. And these conditioned souls, they are full of desires. There is no desires. We cannot be desireless. Desires will be there, but the desires need to be converted. It needs to be dovetailed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that we can get to. How can we get out of it? Is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Shranvatam swakataha Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha hridayantasto hi abhadrani vidinoti suhritsatam. Shranvatam swakataha Krishna. That is, we should always think of Krishna, the pure devotees, is freed from all kinds of desires. How can we free from? By hearing Krishna Katha, we can free from the material desires. In the material world, the heart of the living entity is filled with material desire. And when the living entity is cleansed, he does not think of anything material. That's what actually he wants to say, that we have to get out of this. It is just like actually there's one more statement in Srimad Bhagavatam 5:135. The Supreme Lord is all powerful and he can do things that seems wonderful for a common man. Similarly, a devotee who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can also do wonderful things unimaginable to a common man by the grace of the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. So we should always pray to the Supreme Lord that we are imperfect and we constantly need the help of the Supreme Lord and we must ask for forgiveness. And we should be grateful that he is available to us. So that's how actually it says that his love is also never ending. He's always ready to help us. As we've seen that he's always ready to take us, but we have to fall at him. We have to pray. We have to chant that through the process only we can get out of this clutches of this material world. There's a purport I forgot to say. Anadi karma phale padi bhar na jole taribare na dekhi upay. My Lord, I do not know when I commenced my material life, and I can certainly experience that I have fallen to the deep ocean of nations. Now I can see things there is no other way to get out of it except to take shelter of your lotus feet. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, Nandana Tanuja Kinkaram Patitama Vishame Bhabambudo Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Stitadhuri Sadrisham Vichantaya. My dear Lord, son of Narna Maharaj, I am your eternal servant. Somehow or other I have fallen to the ocean of nations. Kindly therefore save me from the horrible condition of materialistic life. So as I gave you that we must in constant touch with the devotees, then we can constantly chanting And that is a process through which we can get out of this material world. It is just like, actually, I'll give you a nice example that the children's, they go for merry-go-round. So, the normally we pay something and the merry-go-round is say 3 times, 3 or 4 times, whatever the round it takes. But the child is not satisfied. The child wants to take again. Someone, one more time, one more time. Like that, we are also like the same thing. We don't want to get out of the whirlpool. We don't want to get out of the material ocean, which is once we get out of it, once we take the path, once we do that, we can get out and take the process of chanting and going back to Godhead should be the process. That's what we should say. Text 15 is the last one. My dear king, I have thus described how people generally act according to their different desires and as a result get different types of bodies in higher or lower planetary system. You inquired of these things from me. I have explained to you whatever I have heard from the authorities. What shall I speak now? The sense of Bhaktivedanta purport to the 5th canto, 24th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Glories of the Anantadeva. In this, relating to it, there is a very nice shloka in 3.636 where Maitreya Muni he is describing to Vidur Maharaj. It is a nice shloka. Tathapi kirtyami anga yathamati yathashrutam kirtim hare swam satkartum giram anyabhisasitam. So it is said, in spite of my inability, whatever I have been able to hear from my spiritual master, whatever I could assimilate, I am now describing in glorification of the Lord by pure speech. Otherwise, my power of speaking would remain unchanged. So this Maitreya Muni is saying that he was describing about the glories of the Lord, although he does not have the ability to describe them perfectly. So this glorification of the Lord is not a product of research, but it is the result of hearing submissively from the authority of the spiritual master. And it is not possible to repeat what one has heard from the spiritual master. So one can narrate as far as possible. Honest endeavor should be there. And it does not matter when the Lord glories are fully explained or not. One must attempt to engage one's bodily, mental, verbal activities in the transcendental glorification of the Lord. Otherwise, such activities will remain unchaste, impure. So the existence of the conditioned soul can be purified only by engaging the mind and speech in the service of the Lord. So, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mari. This is the grand conclusion of this. Basically, of the chapter is Lord Ananta is unlimited, and this universe just like an atom appears to him. He has thousands of tongues, but still he cannot completely describe them. So, Ananta means unlimited. So, this is why I conclude the chapter. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Matajis. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Whatever little knowledge I had, I have shared with you. Hare Krishna, Anandarupa Prabhu, thank you very much once again. I hope I have done justification for these verses.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. It was a wonderful explanation.
This chapter is very important, as it is stated, that we can get out of the material world just by glorifying the Lord Ananta. And I got the opportunity of glorifying. I hope this will show me the exit path for getting out of the material world.
Prabhuji Matajis have any questions, they can ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for a wonderful class. Prabhuji, in the starting of the class, you quoted one nice verse, Prabhuji, that this body has been given to us is to use as an instrument, and the God is the captain, and
Guru is the captain.
Guru is the captain, and God is the favorable winds.
Yeah.
So kindly share that reference so that I can meditate on it, Prabhuji.
It is Srimad Bhagavatam 11.7.10, Mataji. It is there in the 11.7.10. So this is from the where I have picked up the verse, because this human form of life is the only way where we can exit out. In any other forms, we cannot exit out. So we should use this human form of life given the opportunity. So we should use it as much and go back. That's what Prabhupada also has said actually in this Kali Yuga. It is this 10,000 years is a golden period, and we do not know how the Kali Yuga will be, because which is described in the 12th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, where it is stated. It's a very going to be now. Actually, I will tell you. I will give you my experience in UAE. I was in UAE, and UAE we cannot put tilak, we cannot put dhotis, we cannot even the kanti mala. We have to hide it with a tie or something. So that's how actually. So the Kali Yuga process is already started, and this human form is not. It's a very rare. It is not that it is we are guaranteed that you will get a human form of life. So the human form of life, if we don't utilize it, that's what it is. Atmaha. That is, you are a killer of the soul. So we should utilize it properly. That's what this verse basically describes. That's what is my understanding, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for enlightening us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Pranams to everybody assembled. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I've got a question, Prabhu. I mean, now that we have discussed about this Anantadev thing, we don't worship Anantadev in the temples, isn't it, Prabhu?
When you sing Narsimha Arti Prabhu, you sing no?
Yes,
Jai Ananda. That's then. Moreover, actually, if you go to Trivandrum, the Ananta Padma Shesha, he's nothing but the Ananta Dev. And actually, I have heard in Udupi also there's an Ananta temple. Before you enter the Udupi temple, there you have to worship the Lord.
Okay. Okay. I got it now, Prabhu. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Whatever I have little understanding, I gave it to Prabhu Mataji. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. वैष्णववृंद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. श्रील गुरुदेव की जय.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Can we chant one time for Prabhu, thanking him? Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna,
Thank you so
Prabhu.
much, Prabhu.
Thank you,
It's a
Thank you
Prabhuji.
very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Dandavad
Thank you,
pranams.
devotees. Thank you for joining and giving association.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
We'll join tomorrow again.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Dandavad pranams.
Hare Krishna.